Hi guys. One thing I wanted to touch on just real quick is I guess it's been happening for a while now, but I just saw some other video again today about how God only calls us to love our neighbor, and that's it. Doesn't call us to love scripture, doesn't call us to love our church, doesn't call us to love religion. And it just got me thinking, and our society likes to take one-liner scriptures from the Bible and apply them how they see fit instead of learning the context of that scripture and really studying it to know. And I'm guilty of it as well. Um, but they take the love thy neighbor and they lay it out in a blanket context of you must love everybody in everything that they're doing, and that is your job, and that if you do anything else, basically you're being judgmental and hateful. And that's just not the case. God calls us to love him and to honor him, and we are to strive to be Christ-like. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to have the ultimate judgment on anybody, but we are called to call one another out on our sin with kindness and grace. And I can love you. And honestly, if I call you out in your sin and you call me out in my sin, that means I have a greater love for you, because I am more concerned about your soul and where you're going to go when you die, heaven or hell. And I'm not the one that determines whether you go to heaven or hell, but God does clearly state what our sin is in the Bible and in scriptures. And so just because I am unwilling to embrace your sin and your way of life does not mean that I don't love you. And it doesn't mean that Christians don't love you. It just means that we're unwilling to change our views or our perspectives of what sin is or isn't, and we're unwilling to change what Scripture says. We cannot warp or change Scripture to be what we want it to be, to fit the lifestyles we want to live. Instead, we need to study Scripture, know what it says, and so that we live our lives according to it instead of making it fit our lives and how we want to live. So, if you really want to know the context of love thy neighbor, go look it up, study some scripture, and see what it truly means instead of just taking it as a blanket statement and thinking you understand the context. Because that's what I had to do a little today for myself, just for a better understanding. And I'm not going to do it, obviously, in a few-minute video, but go do a little research and find out what was meant and what the context of that scripture meant. All right. Have a good day. God bless.